Have you ever wondered what a full renovation of your space would look like? Well, I'm Jane Barnes, I'm an interior designer, and I'm at a project where I did just that. So this client is a family of 4. They've lived in this house for about 15 years, and all of their things were hand-me-downs from their great aunt, their grandmother, all beautiful pieces, but it wasn't really who they were as a family. So this is a space that was previously a formal living room, and they were never using it because it was a bunch of, again, beautiful pieces, but they were older, they weren't functional, they weren't comfortable, and there was no television. So I sat down and chatted with them to really understand what they needed as a family. How did they live? How would they like to use this space where previously they'd only used it at Christmas time? So in that conversation, I was able to glean that they want to use this space that's comfortable, approachable for the 4 of them on the regular day-to-day life, but also have a space that has versatility so that they could open up the house to their friends and family for holidays, for celebrations, for special events, or, you know, just whatever random celebration comes up. So that was how I came up with this plan. So I offered them 3 different floor plans with different furniture placement so that they could really see what each space would look like. That was done in a 3D rendering so they could see it in, you know, what a 3D world would look like. And we landed on this plan, and I love this plan. So here we have a fantastic sectional here with seating for 7, this fantastic ottoman here, which is great additional seating spot to put your feet on. You can eat on it. It has leather, so that adds to the complex layering of textures for the space because it's a really, you know, it's a very monochromatic look. So that's why texture is so important in a space like this. Plus the depth of it really punctuates the lightness of the sofa, and over time this leather is just going to get better and better and more lived in together. So we also added these beautiful custom window treatments. They're ripple fold drapes ceiling to floor, and they're done in a cotton fabric that's embroidered with this beautiful peacock style embroidery and has this fantastic trim down the interior with this tassel. So it's varying shades of blue, chambray blues, interesting. So it's elevated but also kind of bohemian, which I love that juxtaposition. In addition to which, this room didn't have any lighting. So I added this light fixture here, which I just love. It's ambient lighting. It adds some interest. It adds texture here with these wooden beads, which I love, but you can also see the size and the shape. It echoes the proportions of the ottoman below, so you get that really nice balance, but at night it adds a really lovely ambient light to the space, which is really fantastic. So we have the 7-seat sectional here. We did custom pillows to coordinate with the beautiful window treatments, but on top of that, the space didn't have a TV before. So what I did was I designed this fireplace here, which previously had not been used. The bottom of it was brick, and then the top of it was just, you know, a wall, board, and plaster. So what I did was I designed this so that the brick would go all the way to the ceiling because I wanted the texture of the brick, but I also need to make sure that whatever I'm adding, you know, that's going to be staying, it's an architectural interest, that it acknowledges and respects the architecture of the existing space. So I don't want anything that's going to be super crazy. So it really acknowledges the traditional aspects of this space, but elevates it to the transitional look that we're going for here. So we added the brick to the ceiling above with some beautiful crown molding, and then we added electrical wiring so that we could have this recessed spot for the TV, because I wanted the TV to be, obviously we like to watch TV, but I don't want it to be front and center all the time. So it's fantastic because we can pull it out and it can articulate either way, and then it can get pushed back into space. So I really love that. This is just a screensaver on YouTube, which is fantastic to do. And my client also wanted a mantle, understandably. That's where we hang the stockings with care. So, you know, we had to have that, and I opted to keep it white with this beautiful trim detail here, but also a nice spot for her to put picture frames and various things as well. And then this wool area rug, which is great because it has movement, it has flow, it has all different depths of color, a lot of movement, so it's really family friendly should anything ever spill on it. But it's wool, so it really adds warmth to the space in the winter and just adds that really fun transitional sort of organic texture to the space, which I really love. In addition to which, we have these 2 armchairs here, which are on a smaller scale, and I wanted that intentionally. Again, this space isn't that big, so I have to make sure that we're maximizing all of the seating options, but that they don't overpower the space. So they're done in a navy blue velvet. Again, they're on a smaller scale, and I love that because they can be taken out and moved around for, again, like family events, holidays, celebrations. They can be moved out to these areas easily, and there's still plenty of walkway space as well. To the fireplace renovation, I designed these built-in bookcases here for that elevated look, the interest, but also for, really lovely spot to display different items for some interest, because in addition to seating in this area, we needed to maximize storage. So while this isn't tons of storage, it is a great spot to put really lovely things. We have some closed storage here for those things that aren't really lovely. And on the other side of the fireplace, we have the same exact size built in as well. Over here, obviously we're maximizing seating area, but since it's a family of 4 and since they're real people, they want to be in a spot where they're all congregating and enjoying each other and maybe doing different tasks at the same time. So maybe someone's on the sofa reading, maybe someone's watching TV, but I added this sofa table, which is fantastic. It obviously balances out the sofa in a beautiful way. It gives me a great spot to put some lights here for additional lighting around the sofa. So I did too. I love to have balance and proportion. But in addition to it just being a table, it's actually a little bit of a desk area with a little bit of storage here. And then for seating for this desk area, I opted for these 3 ottomans. And I love these because they're obviously fantastic to sit here, do your work, eat a meal in case one of the kids are messy eaters. This is a great spot to designate for the food. But also, these ottomans are great. They're lightweight and they're really, really versatile. So these can be taken out and moved around the space again for the holidays, for the celebrations, for the impromptu whatevers. There's a lot of versatility here. So those are always important components to all of my designs. I want designs to be beautiful, soft, functional, and also versatile because our lives change. The seasons change around here, the events change, the holidays change. So I really have to make sure that all of my designs can really ebb and flow with the way my clients live. So this is obviously a beautiful dining room, and this was the 3rd space that I designed for these clients. So this is an open concept style house, and one of the challenges that I always have from clients is I love open concept, I just don't know how to do it. So my approach is always I want each space to feel, have its continuity and feel like it's connected, but I like for each space to feel like the beautiful first cousin of a gorgeous family. So each space has its own identity, but it also has its own function and beauty that really meld beautifully together with the surrounding spaces. And so that's what I've done in here. It's connected to the living room and the sunroom. So in here we opted for a lighter blue on the walls, did this beautiful furniture, custom-made table from Italy, made for my clients by our house. I love the painting on it. It has this blue-gray color and it has this rustic elegance that I'm so drawn to. And this is a normal family, right? So they're eating here, they're working here, they're, doing puzzles, Play-Doh, crayons, painting, all the things that you do at a table. And I just love how a table will take on the history of a family. It's just really interesting and compelling. So that's why I really love this look, because it already has that built-in rustic appeal, and it'll just get more and more interesting as this family enjoys it. It does have 2 leaves, which is fantastic for the celebrations, for the holidays, because they wanted this space to be beautiful for the 4 of them on the day-to-day basis, but they also wanted it to be beautiful for their friends and family when they want to invite people over. They want to host the holidays, they want to host the parties. So the additional 2 leaves add lots more seating, and those leaves are also painted and beautiful. We have 6 chairs here. They're upholstered, so they're comfortable, so that you could really sit at this table for 3 or 4 hours and just chat and, chew the fat with your friends or your family, so that no one's getting uncomfortable after a half an hour or so. They are a high performance fabric, so every fiber in them is coated, so they repel stains and moisture and liquids, so on and so forth, which is fantastic. But they just have really beautiful lines done in a really light gray. The area rug is gorgeous. It's a take on a classic style, but it has the variation of blues, and it also has sort of that lived-in feel, which I just think is really beautiful and echoes the sentiments of the table as well. And it gives us some punctuation of blue on the floor, where other areas are much lighter and brighter. So in addition to that, we did these fantastic light fixtures here. I opted to do 2 because it really balances out the table beautifully, adds some interest, kind of makes it a little bit less formal, more approachable. And so they're a modern take on a classic New England lantern here. So it's completely, doesn't obstruct your view from any point in the room. You can see right through it. There's no glass that's high maintenance. And I love the finish on them. They're like this silvery golden color, which is really lovely, and it has some age to it. So a classic candelabra style with 4 lights on each lantern, both done on a dimmer. And I just love the way they balance out this table. In addition to which, we did these beautiful custom window treatments, ripple fold draperies, ceiling to floor. They are functional, they open and close because they have neighbors, so it's nice to close them at night and get a little privacy. But I love the chambray material. It has some color, but it also has some texture, so it's that, sort of approachable elegance that I love, a little bit of coastal chic. It also has a beautiful embroidery to it, a white embroidery, which echoes the color of the table and the trim, and also this beautiful china cabinet. So this is obviously a built-in china cabinet, and it's original to the house. And my clients loved it, but they weren't using it. It was sticky. It was hard to open. There was no lighting. It just was a bit of an underutilized gem. So what I opted to do, obviously wanted to keep it. It has this gorgeous leaded glass here, which is original and just beautiful. So I had my team clean up this silver here that had lots of paint and lots of stuff on it. So we cleaned it all up so that it's really lovely, still shows the age. I added lighting inside here on a dimmer switch, which is really beautiful because it helps you to appreciate and enjoy what's inside, but also this great ambient light at night. So, after, the kids have gone to bed or dinner's done, you can turn off most of the lights and just have this on for a beautiful glow. It highlights all of their beautiful things that they had previously not been enjoying or seeing regularly. And so to give us a little bit of contrast and depth, I opted to do this contrasting bluish gray tone inside, which balances out the color of the window treatments, the area rug, the chairs, and just helps the silver and the crystal to pop. And I just love the way it came out. We also added some lighting under here and carried that contrasting color down here. So in addition to which, the hardware was a real opportunity for discovery because I wanted to make sure that we complemented the history and the nature of this china cabinet, the age of it, but also updated it to the current design that I did that's very transitional and updated. So what I came up with were these beautiful glass knobs. These are actually vintage. I had to hunt these down, so did these really cool glass round knobs here, and then did these glass pulls here here. So they don't come as a set. I had to find them, but I love the way they turned out because they really add to the richness of the piece and add to the updated feel of the space. So, and then I also did a beautiful sideboard that has the same finish as the table. But what I love about that piece is it has a blue stone top, which is so fantastic because when I host, I like to have a spot for the bar area for everyone to be able to serve their own beverages. And that blue stone top, you know, gives us like the depth of color, which is great, but it's also super functional so that you can put your ice bucket. You can have, you know, glasses that might be, wet, and there's not going to leave marks. It's not going to ruin the finish. It's just like a perfect spot to set up the bar area when you're having, a gathering or the holidays. And then also did these great Roman shades on either side of the china cabinet. I opted to do a translucent sheer material in a Roman shade because I didn't want to add too much depth to the space. I didn't really want to call attention to it, but I love how they turned out because it has a little bit of texture, and the design of it echoes the sentiments of the beautiful ceiling to floor ripple fold drapes. And moving into this space, this had previously been a sunroom. So obviously you can see we have a lot of great sunlight, but my client during the pandemic started to work from home. So she needed a designated space to work from home, but be able to close off from the rest of the house and the kids. So this was a perfect space to make that into her beautiful workspace. So what's so great about this space is obviously we get the sunlight, but I added these beautiful custom designed faux Roman shades here, which are light and bright. Again, a beautifully embroidered material here with this gorgeous tassel trim here. And this room is right off of the living room, so it's a really open concept type of space. So I had to make sure that whatever was in here was going to coordinate with the surrounding spaces, but have its own identity. So I accomplished that by going with a darker blue on the walls. We don't have a lot of wall space, so it was fantastic to really give us a little bit of depth here in balance with this beautiful light faux Roman shade here. So there is also some privacy with some pull down shades here as well. And then I added this, really fun chair with this botanical blue print with, a lovely ottoman, and this great area rug here that has some texture. Again, that kind of bohemian flair. This beautiful blue velvet desk chair, lovely desk. And then this light fixture, which is, it's got the wooden beads, which echoes the sentiments that in the surrounding space, but again, has its own identity so that every space doesn't feel matchy-matchy. It kind of feels like the first cousin of a gorgeous family. And then behind you, I did these fantastic built-ins, which, I love built-ins. They add interest, they add age, they add that je ne sais quoi to a space of a built-in. So, there's storage here because my client's an avid reader, so she has tons of books, family photos, and some closed storage at the bottom, which is fantastic. And she is a fantastic green thumb, so she's added all these beautiful plants. But it's a great space. She's on a lot of Zoom calls. So while she's seated here, she gets tons of compliments from people that are like, where are you? Is that like a screensaver behind you? Like, is that really where you live? So I love hearing those compliments, and I just love that she's getting the accolades of a beautiful space. And it really, promotes productivity, happiness, joy, to have a space that's functional and beautiful and also full of sunlight. sick of the way your space is looking, it's just not cutting the mustard, and you want it to be beautiful, but you don't know how to do it, give me a call. I love design. This is the fiber of my being. So give me a call. Let's see if we're a good fit for each other, and I could help you on your design journey.